So, hey, everybody, welcome back.
What's up?
Oh, Cali,
What's
you're
going on?
frozen face. Uh, there you go. Now I can see you. So,
We're
we're
going
going
live.
live. Yeah. Welcome back to another week of We're Going Live. And, we're just a group of investors here discussing our journeys. And one of our members decided that we should have a discussion this week on tenant drama. And, but I think he's being fashionably late. I'm assuming it's a very good story. But yeah, like, what are your guys' thoughts? Like, I don't personally have tenants, so I don't really worry about that. But what are your stories? Like, do you guys have any tenant drama stories?
You know what? I'm gonna let's do a quick little
Sure.
intro.
Yeah.
Tell everyone where you are, what you're up to, Shawn. Everyone wants to know, man. The whole the audience, our massive audience is just dying to figure out what's Shawn. Where is he? Where is he at? What's he doing?
Those two people that are watching right now. All right. So, anyways, without further ado, and I'm from Moncton, New Brunswick, and I'm actually wholesaling for the most part, but also looking to grow and expand our business into the entire East Coast, eventually, right? So we're always looking for more people to join the team and more people to kind of just get behind us here and expand and scale. So. Anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest here in New Brunswick, please feel free to get in touch with me at 506-800-4289. You can call or text me there, or reach me at the Moncton Wholesaler on Instagram, or just Shawn Gunther on Facebook.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome. Brad, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everyone what you're up to, where you're at.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. I'm just kind of pulling into the school parking lot to get the kids from school. But so Brad Plume here. Mainly focused on investments right now in the current in Grey and Bruce County. We have had a couple flips on the go there. We just sold one of our properties, went into multiple offers, went for like $50K more than what we were expecting. So that was solid.
That's awesome.
And we're just really looking for more deals in that area and moving forward with it. And that's kind of where we're at. We're kind of put the holds, like the rentals on hold at this point in time, unless it's like a really great deal or we happen to find a bit of a multifamily that makes sense. But here we are.
Awesome, man. That's cool. Mr. Mustatia, how's it going, brother?
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Sorry, I'm late.
No worries.
It's all good, man. It's perfect timing. We're just doing intros, and then you're gonna steal the show with your story here, and where everyone tuned in today to hear this tenant drama story. So
of all things, and I'm late.
Yeah. So quickly, I'll give a little intro to myself and the show. I guess I've been doing this for every week, just kind of giving a little breakdown of how we got here, what we're doing. We're all part of the same mastermind. We're all getting mentored, and we have been told that we need to do much better at our social media presence. And a lot of what we do is joint venturing. So we decided, hey, you know what? Because we're all lacking in the same area for the same reasons, why don't we kind of leverage each other and just joint venture on this weekly going live thing, every Friday at 3 p.m. and share our stories and let people know what we're up to. And then that way after, they can reach out to us, or it's just a way for us to kind of get comfortable sharing our story, right? So on that note, I'll just tell you a little bit about what I'm up to and my name. I'm Cali Braithwaite. I live in the GTA. I'm investing throughout Ontario and currently heavily in New Brunswick, thanks to Shawn. I am focusing this year primarily on flips and assignments. And like Brad, I'm also jumping on the odd, multifamily or long-term buy and hold if it really makes sense. Just the way things are going right now, that's been my strategy. But if you ever want to reach out, you can contact me on Instagram at Grow with Cali, because it's all about growth. You can reach out to me at Gmail, growwithcali@gmail.com, or you can call me at 289-207-5316, and we can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. So at that note, Alex, why don't you tell us what you're up to and break right into it, man.
Sure. No, thanks, Cali. So Alex Mustatea, I'm an active investor and based out of Hamilton. Majority of my projects, Hamilton, GTA, and I guess it's funny, exactly to that point, just most recently that I'm closing on Monday is a Chatham fourplex or current triplex we're gonna add on an additional unit with that mindset of the active income on the flip side, but also moving that into more passive income, long-term buy and holds, and that just makes perfect sense. There's an opportunity there to force appreciation on the current building and then hold it long-term. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna. This Bluetooth is connected to my phone as well.
Music.
No.
I thought that was just your entrance music, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Eh?
Like Darth Vader.
Can you guys hear me now? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's a little bit about what I do. And I guess if I am the last one to introduce myself, then I might as well just provide the main topic of discussion.
I'm just gonna hold that for just 1 second, Alex. I just want to just kind of throw it out there to anybody that's watching. If you haven't already, please go and follow our Facebook page, which is just We're Going Live, or you can find it with the tag at Property Guys Going Live on Facebook. And please just like or follow the page, and it'd be greatly appreciated. That's all I got.
Awesome.
And comment and join the conversation. We would love to hear them.
Indeed. And especially
100%.
After what I have to say. So yeah, I guess the tenant drama. So Juan and I closed on a townhouse on the 1st of April. This was a townhouse. It was an off-market opportunity. It happens to be through a friend of my mom's, actually, a very nice lady that basically was looking at liquidating some of her portfolio, eventually retiring. So we had discussions as far back as October, November on this particular property with the intent of closing it on April 1st. The tenant she had in there had signed an N11, which, Shawn, for what it's worth for out of province folks, that's an agreement to end the tenancy, a mutual agreement to end the tenancy. So on common or mutual, both parties are in agreement that she will move out on March 31st. So that was signed even as far back as October. By January, when she understood that that place has been sold and there will be a new owner that does not plan on continuing with her tenancy, she realized that she needs to move out. So she became quite difficult. She stopped paying rent as of January. So January, February, March. March would have been, I guess, her last months anyway, but at least 2 months worth of rent were not paid. And basically started indicating that she was not planning on moving. By the 31st, she did actually move, I'm going to say 99% of her stuff. Incidentally, though, while she got difficult, she also happened to change the door lock on the front door. So the previous owners did not have a key. On possession on the 1st, my lawyer wasn't able to give me a key. They didn't have a key. So on that date, myself and the previous owners visited the townhouse, and we were able to identify that the main floor was empty. So she had, every indication that she moved out, and we thought that she might. So because of that, now I'm the new owner. I just don't have a key to the place. So the next day we found a way in and changed the lock. Now I have the key. Well, it turns out that because she has left a bunch of garbage behind, as well as a washer and dryer, which were hers. Those are her items, a laundry, washer, and dryer. She still claims that that is her house. Incidentally, she also happens to have, I guess, a connection in the neighborhood in that every time I'm there, she knows about it. Within about 10, 15 minutes after I arrive, she shows up, verbally abusing me, yelling at me that I'm trespassing. She ended up calling the police. The police have called me. They understand I'm the new owner. There's no tenancy. There is an N11 sign. Police don't get really involved in tenant matters. We also hired a paralegal in advance to deal with this, so that paperwork is already on its way. But now the police are really the only thing they can offer is to facilitate. I had indicated that I don't feel comfortable in being in that unit with her alone, so they're willing to facilitate, I guess, property removal process. But it's up to her to coordinate probably a U-Haul truck as well as labor, somebody to help her move this washer and dryer. So she refuses to do that. So every time she shows up, she's yelling and she's looking for cash for keys. But she doesn't have keys anymore. And she's asking the wrong owner. So yeah, it's a show. Every time she shows up, there's a lot of screaming, a lot of swearing. She's attempting to enter the unit, so I found myself like running inside and locking the door, and now she's screaming outside the unit. So it becomes a show. And when we leave, she follows us. So she actually drives after us to see where we're going. She did this to Juan at first and didn't really pursue him very, very much. But then on Wednesday, she followed me up the Red Hill and up the Lincoln Alexander. These are, I guess, highways or whatever, major roads crossing Hamilton. And I got to a point where I'm like, well, I'm not bringing her home for Christ's sakes. So I called the police and they instructed me to go to the police station. So she followed me almost within probably a kilometer or so from the police station. She must have realized where I was going, so she stopped following me at that point. But I guess I got it on record. At this point afterwards, I actually had the officer call me back to confirm that she's been warned not to do this. She's not allowed to follow me. She's not allowed to come to the unit. She'd be trespassing. They're willing to still facilitate the property removal, but it's up to her to coordinate it. And they appreciate that I'm willing to allow for that, which I am. I can't wait to get rid of their stuff. But only in their presence. I just don't feel comfortable in being in that place with her. I'm sure as hell not going to give her a key. So yeah, that's the type of drama that I'm dealing with.
Sounds pretty dramatic.
Wow.
Well, I mean, the last thing that I want to do is have her show up in front of my house and do that. Like,
I don't know, Alex. To me, it sounds like you should just get out of real estate investing.
Oh yeah, is that enough?
It's too much, man. It's too much.
The problems are worth the profits.
It's just understand she's threatening that I'm trespassing, that she's going to sue me, that I'm going to get arrested. And then the police, they'll be like, you're the rightful. Oh, when she called the police, she declared her new address. So the officer was like, oh, so you're not out in the street. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Did you make her aware that she had signed that N11? Like, here, here's the copy. Did you bring it with you?
No, my parents. I don't I will go out of my way not to interact with her or say anything to her. My paralegal has done that. He's sent her letters indicating that you're trespassing. This is no longer your unit. Like you're out of there. The fact that you've left your washer and dryer behind, we're willing to let you have it back, but not at the rate you're going.
Wow. Well, it sounds like
she signed an N11.
That's right. That's kind of what seals the deal. Like, I wouldn't have gone in there if that wasn't the case. Like, I had every indication that she moved out, and she has. Like, everything is out of there that you would need to survive. I don't know where the washer and dryer falls in that, but whatever. Like, you come back and get that. Under normal circumstances, I'd have no problem with letting her come in and take that out, but this is not normal. you know, the last thing I want is for her and I to be in that place alone, and now she won't want to leave. I have to call the cops on her. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So she was chasing you. Was she like? Did she have a crazy look in her eye, or what?
Oh man, like she pulled up. So the last time when she did follow me, I happened that I was only there for a few minutes. So by the time she was getting around, I'd already left. But she caught up to me at the light. So I know her car now. I recognize the car, and I'm trying to look in the rearview mirror, and there's this person putting on a hoodie and trying to hide herself. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, you're not fooling anybody. So then she realized I saw her, so she just took it up and just continued following me. I'm like, where do you think this is gonna go?
Yeah.
Oh, it just surprises me what people want to do with their time.
Yeah. So like this kind of leads into like a conversation though in regards to like from an investment standpoint of, you know, making sure that us as investors that we actually are doing things appropriately and legally and doing what we're supposed to do. And, you know, that stems from like the fact that you went and you've gotten your legal counsel and you have somebody dealing with that. And then just also knowing that, you know, if you are investing in real estate and decide not to do those things, that you do take your due process and you do make sure that documentation and paperwork is done accordingly. Otherwise, you could end up with a lot of hassles and a lot of pains just because you make an assumption that everybody's good and everybody's going to do what they say and everybody's going to want to do what they said that they would, right?
So knowing fully well she had an N11 sign, I've been in constant communication with the previous owners on this, and we had floated the idea of like realizing that she might not leave. We'd floated the idea of me going in and offering her X amount of dollars to actually leave, cash for keys, exactly just that. But having an N11 and realizing that she's being difficult, I mean, I don't know if this even matters, but in reality, it might speak to the type of person she is. Like when we walked through it back in November, there was a strong smell of marijuana in the house with 3 kids, one of them an infant. So, you know, that might say something. But like in the house, throughout the entire house. So realizing that, I decided to hire a paralegal in advance, someone that I've worked with in the past, and he's very professional. He happens to be an investor himself, so that helps. So I did that. I committed to that. He started the paperwork. And then on the first, when I realized she moved, you know, scarcity mentality still persists in some way, that I thought to myself, oh, maybe, you know, like I just wasted a bunch of money because he didn't have to do anything. She moved. Well, didn't I find out that she didn't actually move, and this is what I'm dealing with. And now having him involved from the beginning pays off dividends. I'd far rather pay whatever it is he's charging them to give her cash for keys, considering who I'm dealing with.
100%. That sounds like it would be extremely frustrating. And I mean, did you know, was the condition of the purchase vacant possession?
The APS indicated vacant possession, but again, considering who I bought the place from, it was in my, not just in my interest. It was my main priority was to ensure that the sellers are not gonna, like, we find the best way for both parties. You know, from a lawyer's point of view, my lawyer said that, hey, if they don't give you vacant possession, you can actually sue them, the sellers. I was not going to do that. So I was going to work with them to find this solution to get her out, and then eventually take. So I told them I'm going to close on it no matter what, and then I'll deal with it. Having hired a paralegal in advance, he acted on their behalf up to the closing point, and then he would have acted on my behalf. But I was in no way going to go and sue the sellers, because that wasn't the understanding. Not besides the fact that they're a family friend, but there wasn't the understanding that, you know, there was a. Let's say if there was a price break, it was on the premise that I will deal with this problem and not make it their problem.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't think you ever want to go into a situation where your first thought is like, I'm going to sue you, right? Like,
No. But a lawyer will advise you on the best course of action. If it's not vacant, you can take legal proceedings against it's their responsibility to give you vacant possession.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, it's always good to know what your options are, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that, you know, you're right there. You're better off always kind of trying to get the easy solution kind of dealt with first, and just the thought process there where you kind of weren't sure about it and you got a paralegal in it right away. Do you think that was, like, you obviously said that it was good for you? Would it have cost you more to do the cash for keys, or do you think that the paralegal was the more, the better route to go? Or
I think I wouldn't want to make this as a general statement because there's lots of investors that have done well with cash for keys. Like that works when you're dealing with the right person. I'm afraid that in my instance here, it wouldn't have gone well considering her personality. So this was the better way. This is now on record from every point of view. We're very clear on how this goes. I think cash for keys works when you have a good sense of who you're dealing with, and you can rely on that, even though you only give them the cash when they're out for keys, literally. But I still don't think that would have gone well, and I think her expectations are completely unreasonable. And considering that she had signed in allowed, there's no need to do cash for keys.
Mm-hmm. No. Well, I mean, sometimes, opportunistic, right?
That's exactly what it is. So she comes out blasting cash for keys. I'm like, I have the keys. Why would I give you cash?
Yeah. So, like, on another side note, I guess this could lead into a conversation of, like, as investors, where is our time best spent in building our business to what we want it to be, right? And, are looking at property management companies and them being the ones that would look after and deal with the situation. Obviously, yours is a little bit different in the sense that you're going there and then that person is showing up. But, I was just a few minutes ago, we were having a conversation with Cali.
Question for you, Alex.
Properties.
I think Cali's tuning in and out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the property management of things, like, worth it, not worth it, benefits, negatives and stuff, right?
I think, like, I was actually, so I mean, that might be the next step to say the property manager should deal with this. This isn't a buy and hold by any means,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit hard.
Yeah, I don't mean specifically on this specific situation. I just mean in general as a whole.
I think you're 100% right there, Brad. Like, because I mean, I'm looking at doing some buy and holds here in the future, and I know myself personally, and the amount of stress level that it would cause me dealing with that scenario. I don't even think that I would attempt to manage it myself.
I'm gonna maybe go down a step from the property management side and speak to just the level of maturity that you need to have as an investor. So. I don't know if you guys or the audience may recall, we talked about this in one of the first few episodes about my first dilemma with tenants moving back in 2013, so almost 8-9 years ago, where I had to have somebody evicted. That process was very stressful. I learned a lot out of that. So the level of maturity, I think, for me to feel like this is kind of, I chuckle, and I mean, I don't want her following me at home. That can become stressful, but otherwise, just the thought of hiring somebody or the thought of spending more so you can get to your final goal doesn't scare me anymore. So this is, to me, not necessarily stressful the way that first incident was 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
The buffer, I mean, it's not just having more capital, but at that point, I remember even saying this, like, the thought of not being able, like, having to supplement that mortgage myself scared me because I could not imagine how long that may take. How long can I do that? Whereas now it's like, okay, it's another $1,500. I hire a paralegal. I end up holding this place for another few months. Even if I end up losing on this one deal because of this, it's not going to break my business plan, my business model.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's, a lot of people will get into investing and, like, they'll have the same mindset at the start, right? Because nobody wants to spend extra. When you only got 1 or 2 people, those are a big deal, and, like, spending that extra money is big, right? But eventually it gets to the point where is it really worth your headspace? Is it worth that amount of time that you're going to have to go through to deal with it? And is it really worth that stress for the couple $100 that you're going to get or even save, right?
Yeah. What this does is this speaks largely to, screening your tenants, like, and making sure that you're working and dealing with an individual that you want to have like a landlord-tenant relationship with as well, right?
Yeah. Does anybody have a profile or a process that they're using to screen their tenants or vet them in any kind of way?
I found in my latest, so the duplex that I own and the last tenant that I put in there, that you can generally obtain, I'm not going to say higher level of tenants necessarily, but higher level of information or more serious type of applicants when you are working with an agent. So I put it out as an agent and they had their own agent looking for a place to rent. And that, when you introduce those two agents, I think that there's a little bit of vetting happening by the agents as well on who they work with. Yeah. So that was very successful. I had the same ad myself out on Kijiji, and I would have people show interest, and I would reply back with a set of questions, application, this, that, and you try to throw a lot of information to see what comes back, expecting that not all of it will come back. But I mean, some of it was just barely anything, or people would stop, they wouldn't answer, and that just tells me right there that it's not somebody that I want to deal with. Meanwhile, these folks, the minute I asked everything, they gave me everything and then some. So it was,
yeah. Well, and like I've noticed that too, just dealing with sellers and things like that. Like the people that want to deal with you and that are usually like, very honest are the ones that have, or you know what I mean, give you lots of information up front and be like, oh yeah, here's this is my, whatever, and yada, yada, yada. Like they're very free flowing with information and like very honest people. Like it's the ones that are kind of, withdrawn and don't want to give a lot of information, or, you usually just kind of tell what people are going to like to deal with just by, initial conversations as well too, right? Like if, and that's if you're managing yourself, right? Like your property managers would be the ones kind of dealing with that after the fact. But you have a lot of tenants, Brad? I know you're a flipper for the most part, but
so actually, like, we've just started really doing the flipping end of things to an extent. We've had a number of properties that we've bought ourselves personally, renovated, and then sold to. So more of like, flipping your own home type of idea up until this point. But like our main strategy for the most part has been those buy and holds. We've had student rentals. We have a couple multifamilies now, a couple duplexes. And so what are we at now? We're we currently have 7 tenants because one of our units is vacant because it's under construction right now. But yeah, like it's a matter of like having good open communication with all of them and working through any situations that arise. But we've been good. Like, everybody was always wary whenever they would talk to us. They're like, oh man, you're dealing with students, like that's got to be so difficult. And it's like, well, no, actually the students are the easiest ones to deal with because they're the most open books that you are working with, because like they'll just straight up give you all the information that you want when you go to visit them. Whereas when you're dealing with anybody else who like, is like committed to their home and they never want to leave, they're not just as apt to be like, oh, I got some really serious stuff going on in my life right now and I'm not going to be able to pay rent for the next like however long, right?
Yeah.
Or if that's the case or whatever, right? So it's just like, I legitimately think it's a matter of like, it's like in business, you're going to set, when you're talking to anybody who you're going to vet for a tenant, you're going to have like your core values and your culture that you want to have maintained within your residencies, and make sure that they're completely aware of what the expectations are and that there's no deviation from those expectations. So
yeah. I heard tell that the dealing with students isn't the bad part. Sometimes dealing with the parents is the worst part of that.
Yeah, we were actually really good. We had like good parents and students for the most part when we were dealing with them.
So I'm going to quote, I think, Catherine O'Neill on this, and saying that the parents will go above and beyond to ensure that the kids have a really nice place. And I think that resonates, like my concept of long-term buy and holds of properties that I've renovated so it's not so much because I renovated, although who wouldn't want to live in one of my properties? But but it's no, the fact that they're newly renovated, and like depends when you where you buy them. If you're in a good location with a brand new renovated place for at least a few years, you should be able to attract, let's say, the top type of clientele that will be able to pay above market value. So I think that will just speak to their stability and income. Doesn't speak to their personality necessarily, but you have a smaller chance of them ending up in a really tough spot where they can't pay you rent. If they're inclined and making a point of it, not paying you rent, they'll have the same rights and they can screw you just as bad. But you may be in a better position doing just that. And then very similarly with student rentals, again, you'll have the parents that don't mind paying a premium to ensure that the kids have a really nice place, and then they will secure that premium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we're just about at the end of our time here. So if you guys want to just start doing some closeouts, just kind of sign off and let everybody know how to get in touch with you, and we'll end off there.
I'll go first. Alex Mustatea, you can follow me on the highway anytime. You'll usually see my truck and another black SUV behind me.
What's your license plate, Alex?
Sorry. So I guess yes, Alex Mustatea, Hamilton, Ontario. By all means, I'm looking to connect with anybody, whether it's flip, whether it's conversions, whether it's support on tenant issues. I think I've learned some hard lessons. You can reach me at 289-769-8975 or on Instagram, alexandre.mustatea.
Brad?
Yeah, Brad Plume here. Main area focus right now, like I said before, Grey and Bruce County. We're looking at flips up there. And if you have any interest in that area and want to know more information, or if you're looking to invest, then connect with me and we can discuss stuff that's going on up there. 519-379-7911 and brad.plume on Instagram.
That's great. Well, Cali here dropped off for us, so I'll just leave his banner up there. So if anybody wants to get in touch with Cali for anything, feel free to give him a call at 289-207-5361 or on Instagram at Grow with Cali. And I'll just kind of finish off today saying that, I'm Shawn Venter and I live in the Moncton, New Brunswick area, and always looking for buyers, sellers, and investors and people to join the team. So give me a shout at 506-800-4289 or on Instagram at the Moncton Wholesaler. And it was great to see you guys out this week. And thanks for joining and have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Hey guys.